100-mile-an-hour winds, ripping roofs from homes.
And there it goes.
Sending debris flying through the air, causing transformers to explode.
Whoa, whoa.
And As of tonight, officials attribute at least a dozen deaths to the storm, which raced across and away from the Florida peninsula earlier today, leaving behind a patchwork of damage outcomes from good fortune to tragedy. People waking up this morning in St. Petersburg to images of the torn roof off Tropicana Field and a construction crane toppled into an office building by the high winds. On Florida's Gulf Coast, officials say the storm surge was surprisingly less than feared, while Barrier Island, Minnesota, and Grove City remain inaccessible after suffering significant damage, as seen in these drone images. Tonight, millions are without power, with many still inundated by flooding. Tonight, this is Hurricane Milton's path of destruction. In hard-hit Minnesota Key, homes ripped apart and pushed off their foundations. Debris everywhere. The damage along Florida's already battered Gulf Coast extensive, though not nearly as catastrophic as originally feared.
The storm was significant, but thankfully this was not the worst-case scenario.
At least 12 people are dead. Millions of homes and businesses are without power. On Florida's East Coast, the string of deadly tornadoes flattened buildings.
Walked outside. Annihilated. The neighborhood annihilated.
In St. Petersburg, Milton's ferocious winds caused this crane to collapse, crashing into an office building. At Tropicana Field, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays, the massive fabric roof ripped off, now in tatters on the field. It had been used as a base camp for responders pre-storm. About 14 people were inside at the time. All are safe. The storm tossed boats on their sides, and trees crashed through homes.
We heard a screeching noise, and I came outside and we seen the branch in the front yard.
Category 3 Milton made landfall last night near Sarasota, dumping 18 inches of rain in some places and packing 100-mile-an-hour winds, ripping roofs from homes.
And there it goes.
Sending debris flying through the air, causing transformers to explode.
Whoa, whoa.
And fires to break out. Storm surge pushed water through neighborhoods. In Tampa, police rescued 15 people from a single-story home. Clues today including this 14-year-old found floating on debris. A Coast Guard helicopter crew rescuing this man whose boat was disabled in the water, clinging to a cooler. NBC's Chase Kane is in Daytona Beach.
The Volusia County Sheriff has a Marine unit for exactly this kind of thing, using airboats to evacuate people to safety because the rain fell so trapping people in their homes.
Today, I met up with the fire chief of Sarasota County. We traveled to Siesta Key, the barrier island where Milton made landfall. I was with him as he returned on the ground for the first time since the storm. As we drove onto the island, we found downed trees and flooded streets.
Have you seen a lot of flooding like what we're looking at here?
Yes, and as you go further and further north onto Barrier Islands, because it's a little lower down there, the water depth is a little worse.
Yeah,
the chief breathed a sigh of relief. Siesta Key was largely spared.
We just drove through these flooded neighborhoods and trees down. Were you anticipating it would be worse than that?
We were. By the grace of God, the predictions and what we had planned for did not come to fruition. But obviously, if you are a resident or business owner out here, I don't want to minimize it. This is very impactful to the community, but it could have been much, much, much worse.
Lucky is not to be confused with untouched. This is Siesta Key, where the eye of the storm first came ashore. Many of the homes in this community are totally surrounded by water hours after the storm's landfall.
Tonight, Milton has left the Gulf Coast behind, but many are just beginning the difficult work of cleaning up after a major storm for the second time in less than 2 weeks.
Those dozens of reported tornadoes spawned by Milton are likely to define this hurricane as much as anything. And tonight we're getting a better picture of the destruction. Tom Yamas is on Fort Pierce. Tom, the aftermath here is horrific.
Lester, that's right. One of those tornadoes tore right through this home behind me, destroying the entire structure. The homeowners were inside at the time. They looked outside and noticed something strange, and suddenly they ran inside, went into the bathroom. They survived that tornado ripping off the roof of their home and destroying it. But others, unfortunately, weren't so lucky. This tornado outbreak killing several people.
This is the terrifying moment a massive tornado ripped through Fort Pierce. Look at the debris spinning into the air.
Oh, violent tornado.
And this video capturing a twister in Palm Beach Gardens. Look at how quickly and violently it envelops this house, sending debris flying and blowing out the windows. Both tornadoes part of a deadly outbreak spawned by Hurricane Milton.
We are very, very saddened to see a tornado inflict such serious damage, including loss of life.
According to initial reports, at least 38 tornadoes touched down. The twisters flipping semi-trucks, tearing down trees, and reducing homes to piles of rubble.
This wind came through here. If Michael had not grabbed that door and closed it, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here.
In St. Lucie County on Florida's East Coast, a tornado tore through a retirement community, killing at least 6 people, including Debbie Kennedy. Her daughter telling us she was an incredible mother and caregiver.
This is a 100% rescue mission.
Today, Sheriff Keith Pearson telling us they are still searching for survivors.
Just a complete devastation. I mean, cars, trailers, where there were homes, they weren't. They were lifted up, they were moved, they were crumbled.
Those that survived look like this. Forrest Melboff can't